For this presentation, I chose to focus on exoplanets and the ongoing scientific search for life beyond Earth. This is one of the most fascinating areas of astronomy today because it tackles a question that stretches across science, philosophy, and human curiosity. Are we alone in the universe? I'll break down what exoplanets are, how we discover them, what makes a planet potentially habitable, and what current missions are doing to help us detect signs of life out there. What are exoplanets? Exoplanets are planets that orbit stars outside of our solar system. They weren't officially confirmed until 1992 when astronomers found two planets orbiting a millisecond pulsar. Since then, the number of confirmed exoplanets has skyrocketed, thanks to advancements in telescope technology and data analysis. According to NASA's Exoplanet Archive, as of 2025, over 5,600 exoplanets have been confirmed in more than 4,100 planetary systems. These planets vary dramatically. Some are massive gas giants like Jupiter, while others are small, kind of rocky, and more Earth-like. The fact that planetary systems appear to be the norm in our galaxy, not the exception, is a major shift in our understanding of the universe. How do we find exoplanets? Because exoplanets don't emit their own light and are usually drowned out by the brightness of their host stars, we have to rely on other methods to detect them, more indirect methods. The most effective technique is the transit method. This method detects tiny dips in a star's brightness when a planet crosses in front of it. This method allows us to estimate the planet's size and orbital period. So in this illustration, as you can see, the light curve remains steady until the exoplanet gets in front of its star and the brightness dips. And so they take the brightness, the dip in brightness, and the time in order to calculate this planet size and its orbital period. Another method is the Doppler method or radial velocity technique, which observes changes in a star's spectrum caused by the gravitational pull of an orbiting planet. So in this image, you can see that the kind of wavy lines show are kind of tracking the stars, and then the gravitational pull of that orbiting planet. All of that data gets measured in order to determine if it's an exoplanet or not. Direct imaging is also possible with highly specialized instruments that block out starlight, but it's still rare that they'll be able to capture it. So if you can see in these images, these are some images that were taken, and typically the stars around them are pretty bright, so they have to use really detailed and complicated instruments in order to capture these. These detection techniques together provide a fuller picture of exoplanets, including their sizes, orbits, and in some cases, some atmospheric characteristics. So these three methods are some of the more common methods used to detect exoplanets. What makes a planet habitable? A habitable planet is one that has the right conditions to support liquid water on its surface. This is why the habitable zone, also known as the Goldilocks zone, is so important. So if you look in this illustration, it's the region around a star where the temperature isn't too hot, which would be too close to the star, or too cold, which would be too far away from the star or farther away from the star, allowing water to exist in a liquid state. But habitability depends on more than just distance from a star. The planet also needs a stable atmosphere to regulate the temperature and protect against harmful radiation. Geological activity can help cycle nutrients, and the presence of key elements like carbon and nitrogen is critical. While Earth remains our primary model for life, so if you look at this illustration, that's the sun up there, and then you see Mercury and Venus are too close, which would mean that they would be too hot to sustain life or to support liquid water. Earth and Mars sit in that green habitable zone, which means water is able to exist in a liquid state there. And then, of course, you have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune outside of that, which means they are, of course, too cold for water to exist in a liquid state. So while Earth remains our primary model for life, scientists are expanding the definition of habitability as we learn more about extreme environments, both on Earth and beyond. This figure shows the Kepler-62 system in its habitable zone. So out of all of its planets, only two of them, which would be 62F and 62E, sit inside of that habitable zone. So this is a good illustration to show, though a star may have several planets orbiting it, only some of them are habitable depending on where they sit in that Goldilocks zone. So there have been several exoplanet missions that were set out to discover exoplanets, but I'm going to talk about the Kepler and TESS missions. NASA's Kepler Space Telescope launched in 2009, and it revolutionized exoplanet discovery by observing over 500,000 stars, and it's detected over 2,600 exoplanets. Kepler showed us that small Earth-sized planets are actually common. The Kepler mission was followed up by TESS, or the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, which launched in 2018. TESS focuses on stars that are closer and brighter, making it easier to observe and follow up with ground-based telescopes. Now we have the James Webb Space Telescope, which is already providing data on the atmosphere of distant worlds. This space telescope is sensitive enough to detect molecules like water vapor, methane, and CO2, which are gases that can indicate biological activity if found in certain combinations. This multi-mission effort is key to identifying which exoplanets are worth a closer look. Some exoplanets have caught the scientific community's attention due to their unique characteristics. Kepler 452b, which is in this figure here, is often referred to as Earth's older cousin. It's located in the habitable zone of a sun-like star and is about 60% larger than Earth. So if you see this, on the left side is Kepler 452b, and on the right side is Earth. So you can kind of see that size comparison. Then there is the TRAPPIST-1 system, located about 40 light years away, which contains 7 Earth-sized planets, which you could see here. 3 of those planets are in the star's habitable zone, and their proximity makes them prime targets for further study. K2-18b is another notable example. It's a super Earth located about 120 light years away, and in 2019, astronomers found water vapor in its atmosphere. This, of course, was a groundbreaking discovery because it marked the first time water had been detected on a potentially habitable exoplanet. Could there really be other life that exists out there? This is the big question that drives exoplanet research. While we haven't found direct evidence of life, many scientists believe that microbial life is the most likely form we'll encounter first. Microbes are incredibly resilient. They've been found thriving in Earth's deepest oceans, freezing polar regions, and even highly acidic environments. Scientists search for biosignatures, or indicators like oxygen, methane, or certain chemical imbalances that suggest biological processes. With telescopes like the James Webb Space Telescope and the upcoming Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, we're now better equipped to detect those biosignatures in exoplanet atmospheres. However, we must remain cautious. Many gases can be produced by non-biological processes too. So interpretation will require context and follow-up. Why does this matter? The search for life on exoplanets matters on several levels. Scientifically, it helps us better understand planetary formation, atmospheric chemistry, and the conditions that sustain life. It also shapes how we design future telescopes and space missions. But on a deeper level, it challenges how we view ourselves. If life is common, it could suggest that biology is a natural outcome of the universe. If it's rare, it highlights how fragile and unique Earth is. Either outcome is profound. This research also reinforces the importance of protecting our own planet while inspiring the next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers.